Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you guys to meet. This is Rushawn Lawrence. He is an edge rusher at a Stony Brook University. Nice to have you, sir.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Jimmy.
So, Rashawn, I feel like a lot of people really need to get to know you. When you look at the stat line, you're looking at a guy who's one of the top edge rushers in all the FCS, looking at a guy who could potentially win the Buck Buchanan Award. It could happen. So, I mean, you got to watch this guy as he's closing up shop, having a lot of great games recently. So, Rashawn, go ahead and start us out. Tell us where you're from, and we'll get going.
So I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yeah, born and raised, and well, my ethnicity, both my parents were born in Jamaica, so that's where I root from.
Nice. Nice to hear about the background there. Again, uh, Philly, for the most part, is where you're from. So I got to
Yeah.
take us back there first.
Okay.
As I was looking up you and your history, part of a couple different high schools there, and had a little bit of a journey there to start us off. So, walk us through you as a high schooler and maybe one of your fondest memories.
Okay. Originally started off my high school career at Parkway Center City High School, which is in downtown Spring Garden, right in the dead center of Philadelphia. Originally, we didn't have a football team, so us and the surrounding schools, we had to travel all the way to South Philadelphia High School, and we played for the South Philly Rams alongside them. But yeah, freshman year, didn't really see the field at all. Same thing sophomore year, and that's when I kind of started to, really lock in with my training and stuff. I took that off season that summer like really seriously. I also transferred to my senior Bonner High School, which is where I finished my high school career. Graduated from there, and yeah, I had a breakout season my junior year. Was one of the top recruits coming out of the state, and yeah, that's when my recruitment started to pick up.
Cool. So, again, went to two separate, schools there, and a lot's changed since then. Gained about, I don't know, 50, 60 pounds since
Yeah,
those days. I mean, and now you are a formidable edge rusher. As I was looking up some of your info, also played on the offensive side as a bit of a tight end. But
yeah,
I think most people know you as an edge rusher. So,
yeah.
um, let's walk through things there. You're coming out of high school. Obviously, like you said, breakout year as a junior, so a lot of people really starting to get to know you. When the offers start coming in, man, like how did that work in your overall recruiting?
Everything roots back to Twitter. Twitter was the big thing back then. I was talking to a lot of schools. They were sending letters to my school, and originally, around that time, we were like I think we were like 1-9, 0-10. So there wasn't really many schools coming through. Um, any school that was kind of coming through, they were coming to talk to me. My coach, he helped boost me a lot. Him and the rest of our staff, they believed in me a lot. So any and all resources they had, they tried to boost me up as much as possible.
Great. And so after then, actually the first university you landed at was U Albany.
Yeah.
And so talk about how that worked out. Because I mean, I know you weren't there for too long before you moved on, but how did you end up at U Albany?
So I believe they were the third school to offer me. They did a really good job of recruiting me. They were great with their relationships, all the way from Coach Gattuso. I believe Coach Joe Davis was there at the time. I believe he's the head coach now at Western Illinois. But he was my recruiting coach. Yeah, he built a great reputation with me and my family. My mom loved him, my family loved him. He came to visit us and stuff like that, and he made me feel real comfortable and made my family feel real comfortable about me going there. So I ended up coming to Albany to play, and yeah, that was it.
And relatively close to home. Like I don't
Yeah,
know if that kind of played into it. It's like hey, I don't want to go too far away, but still it's a university. You do
Yeah,
like to get out a little bit,
a
spread your wings a little bit as a
little bit.
as a student. But yeah, you were there for a minute, but obviously it didn't last too long. For obviously not just you, but the whole country. We were faced with this pandemic, and
Yeah,
it's like, what in the world is next for us? And actually, from Albany, you segue into Lackawanna Community
yeah.
College. So talk me through that experience there.
Just like what made me hop in the portal, or just the transition to Lackawanna.
However you want to tell the story, dude. It's your story.
All right. So originally, with COVID and stuff, it would always it just pushed back everything, you know. So our report date would go from like June, July, and then finally into August, where they were like, okay, we could finally get you guys up here. We got up there, finally moved in, everything. Campus was still kind of closed. A lot of people were still home. We started to try to work out, but it was just so much going on that they were like, you know what, we can't. And they started to push back workouts to the point where we were going weeks without doing anything, you know. So I was just kind of in my room all day, like just staring at the wall. And I had some stuff start to go back, like, or happen while I was there from home. My mom had uh pancreatic cancer. We had just found that out. And then one of my best friends had got killed. And that kind of sent me to a depression, you know what I mean? Like just not being able to work out. I was in just in my room all day, not being able to come out. And I just felt like I needed a new scenery. You know, it wasn't nothing against the coaches. Like I said, to this day, you know, I still have love for those coaches. They always did right by me. They did a great job coaching me, and just as a not even a football player, but just as a young man, you know. So I just said, you know, I needed a change of scenery. I took a chance on myself. I hopped in a portal with no film, and Lackawanna reached out to me, and I had already heard like a good reputation about them, not just as a school, but you know how they produce D linemen. So it really didn't
Mhm.
take too much thinking for me to make that decision.
Yeah, and again, just to piggyback off of some of what you said, I mean, um, first of all, some guys got to go JUCO. That's just the natural course of things, and there are a lot of great ball players
Tell me,
that
yeah,
go through the JUCO ranks. So let's not discredit that,
most
from
definitely,
the start. But in the event that you do happen to, go to a JUCO, Lackawanna is one of the best there is,
most
especially on
definitely,
on the East Coast. They have a lot of great football there, a lot of great players come out of there. So, hey, not a bad gig, not a bad place to
yeah,
be. And so you obviously got there in 2020 with pandemic. We have no idea what's going on. You did eventually hit the field
yeah,
the following season, and then of course took that opportunity and everything in got into the portal once again.
yeah,
You recruited one more time, and you landed in the CAA once again there at
yeah.
Stony. Um, talk about that.
Um, so first and foremost, like you said, man, JUCO has some ballers. I met some of my best friends there, and you know, it created a special bond because we were in some of the toughest situations. But I will always have love for JUCO. You know, I am a JUCO product, and I am proud of that. Is taught me so much and has prepared me for life, so much adversity. But going into me getting recruited by Stony Brook, I think it was a great experience. I talked to the coaches; they showed me a lot of love. Coach Hatch and Coach Collins, Coach Knowles at the time, they were my recruiting coaches. They, you know, they made sure I was okay. They reached out to me a lot. Coach P at the time, he used to call me every day. We'd be on the phone for like an hour straight, and I'm like you're a head coach. Like, don't you got something better to do? You know, you on the phone with me an hour plus at a time, multiple days. But yeah, they really like recruited me hard. They got me up here for official visit, and that was it. I kind of just fell from there.
Hey, and dude, obviously you're in a great position right now. As I had mentioned, one of the best pass rushers, not just in that conference, but in all of the FCS. I mean, last time I checked, you got 8 sacks on the season, and you are on pace to get 10 or more before it's all done. And that's before we hit playoff.
Yeah.
And so, putting this into perspective, you are a guy whose stock can, continue to rise and rise. And you have really made a spot for yourself as one of these guys who really dominates there in your conference. Certainly, you've had this, I don't know, story where you have been, I guess, put in this position where you have to constantly fight and claw and get yourself through adversity. Um, Talk about that for you, man. I mean, I know even like the 2023 year wasn't the greatest for you, dude, but bro, you bounced back and you are now dominant. Talk about these things, man. Anything further you want to add to like you overcoming these hurdles that have been in your way?
Yeah, man. Thank you, first off. But yeah, 2023, I got hurt. It was a PCL injury. I had to support my brothers from the sideline. It was tough. I wanted to be out there with them. Fortunately, I couldn't, but God always has his plans for us. Um, yeah, nah, I was battling a lot of like mental battles more so like than anything. Just questioning myself sometimes if I was, even going to be able to perform how I know I could perform. And before that, I had my first season here in 2022. Like it was an okay season. I was coming off the bench. I had okay numbers, but it wasn't nothing special. I was just kind of like another role player type of guy, which I embraced. But yeah, just that, and then the mental battles that I had faced. But my head coach now, he's helped me out a lot with that. Extended so many resources as far as just like sports psychologist, stuff like that, just giving me outlets for me to speak on my behalf, and figure out ways for me to learn how to properly focus and how to deal with these things on and off the field.
Great. Well, Rashawn, let's talk about more of you as a football player. So, I mean,
Okay.
again, I have you as an edge rusher. Um, uh, First off, let's go ahead and tell the folks what's your current height and weight, man. I know you've changed a lot since your high school days. What's it look like today?
So right now I'm about 6'2". I want to say 265 around there.
Yeah, I have you in my notes at 270. So I mean, I guess that's
Yeah,
more so your in-season weight, which hey, that's fine.
yeah.
Obviously, you're able to still dominate with it. But when I'm looking at you as a prospect, what am I looking at for you? Like, how do I see you transitioning to the next level? Is there maybe a scheme that fits you best? But I guess really what I'm wondering is what do you feel separates you from all the other people at your position?
Uh, well, if you want me to be truthful with you, like I'm not even an edge rusher. I'm an interior D lineman. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a credit to my versatility. They got me I have a sack at every position on the field, a 0, a 2-eye, a 3, and a 5. So that should just let you know, like my speed, my hands, and just my IQ of the game. And then on top of that, I love to be coached. I'm very coachable. Um, Whatever my D-line coach or my DC, like they see that I don't see, they always are helping me constantly improve, and just getting their point of view from what they see and what they know, like what they see on film and how the other team might look at it and stuff like that. So my DC week in and week out, hey man, like they're probably going to read you this game, or they're probably going to double you or try to take you out. So work on whatever you need to work on, and watch film. But other than that, yeah, um, I take pride in like watching film. I love to watch film. Me and my guys on the line, we like to break stuff down and stuff like that. But yeah, just my versatility is my biggest thing. Like I take pride in being versatile and not being boxed in just one position.
Gotcha. Well, certainly a key player who the coaches do have to kind of move you around a little bit because teams do tend to scheme your way, and
Yeah,
so you got to give guys like you opportunities at multiple positions. But I think as a prospect, most people are, kind of moving you there to the edge
Edge.
as really like how you would project. And so you're obviously making plays at all those spots. But I feel like that's where you're going to make your money at the next
That's
level. So
that's where I want to make my money. That's where I was coming out of high school, and that's what I got recruited as.
gotcha. Well, let's talk more about Stony Brook, and
Okay.
that defense.
Yeah.
Talk to me about those players around you, dude. Talk about your buddies that help you, really dominate that front.
And I love these guys so much. Taylor Blester, number 10, he's like our anchor. You know, he's a zero. He plays a zero very well. He probably is the best out of all of us on taking on double teams. He's smart. He's a communicator out of all of us. He gets us lined up. And he's just like I said, he's smart, man. He picks up on the O line on their conversation when they're coming out, they're making their checks and calls, and he's like deciphering it within seconds and letting us know what's coming, where the ball's going, where they're sliding and stuff like that. And then Rodney, number 14, man, he's like my twin. Uh, just as good as me. He's faster. He has great hands. Great nose for the ball. High motor. And then I feel like they are the big reasons that for my success because they give me those opportunities and I capitalize on them. So they're doing their job. They're giving me my one-on-ones or an open space, or they're taking two and they're allowing me to just do what I got to do and win my one-on-ones or win my matchups. Period. But those guys, yeah, without them, there will be no me. You know what I'm saying? And our linebackers do a great job too, but I'm not gonna get into all that.
Well, we can go position by position, but we might be here all night. So,
Yeah.
um, anyway, growing up in Philly, who is the guy you're really idolizing? Maybe taking maybe modeling your game after. Like, I mean, I know your game has evolved over the years, so maybe your fandom has as well. Like, is there a guy at the next level that you try to emulate?
Malik Collins. Malik Collins, I feel like he's a big guy that can move. He's very twitchy. He gets off the ball quick. He has great hands. I've had very few conversations with him. I reached out to him, just as a player, just wanting to seek advice from a guy that idolizes. But he's probably the biggest person I watch. Him and also Tier Tart. He's another West Philly guy. He's from out my area.
Gotta give some love to the guys in the area for sure. So
Most definitely.
cool. So let's continue to talk about Stony Brook, dude. You guys have had a really good season so far. I think it was what you guys are, what, 7-2 or something? Is that?
Yeah, 7-2.
I mean, you're doing very well this year, man. And you yourself, I think like the last four games, you've had a minimum of a sack. So I mean, again, if you continue on that stretch of getting at least one, dude, you easily get over 10 sacks. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of dominating games for you. Talk about this season and maybe what it might take for you guys to seal the deal at the very end and win this conference and move on.
So first things first, I love repeating this because anybody I talk to, Coach Kosh came in and the first thing he said is just don't be surprised. Like that was one thing he praised, like don't be surprised, don't be surprised. The season starts, we sweep the table or whatever. He was not about the rebuild at all. A lot of people thought, yeah, new coach coming in, new system, is going to be a rebuild, and he wasn't for it. He was like, nah, we're going to turn this up ASAP, and he let us know like we're not coming in to rebuild or just settle for 4-6, whatever the record is. Like, nah, we're going to do the damn thing if we're going to do it. But what I think for us to finish this thing out is to continue doing the little things, right? So we have meetings every day, and he always says like we need to focus, get back to the fundamentals. This past game was a little bit closer than we thought. Bryant came out; they were a very good team. And what we just lacked was our fundamentals. Going back to the first couple weeks in the season, and we were just like starting to revert back to the old Stony Brook, and that's what we were saying. So we just have to continue to, you know, play and focus on the little things that we were um, prioritizing in the beginning. So little things like coming to the meetings 3 minutes early. That's our thing. Um, wearing the right gear to lifts, meetings, and practice. You know what I'm saying? So just stuff like that, and not forgetting where we came from. Because it's very easy for us to be like, oh, we got some wins now. We're 7-2. For us to start getting comfortable, and whenever coach sees anybody getting at least a small bit comfortable, he rips us. Like he rips us instantly. And he like, no, we're not doing that. We're not going back. So just focusing on the little things that we've been doing.
Gotcha. So, bro, I want to let you be the coach. And so, just to kind of, I don't know, maybe take a look back and what would you say to your young self, growing up? Maybe like your high school self. You're the coach now. What are you telling him, man? How are you, trying to get him right so that he can move forward through the rest of his life?
Um, I would tell myself to just keep doing what I'm doing, what I was doing, because in high school and I wasn't one of those guys. Like even now, I'm not one of those guys that like to go out much. As far as like partying and stuff like that, that's never really been me. Even in high school, like I probably went to maybe 3 or 4 parties. I can count on one hand how many parties I've been to, but I was always in the gym. I was always in the gym from the time school let out until the time it closed. I was getting home 10, 11 o'clock at night most nights because I just wanted it that bad. So if I was a coach now and I was to see that, just keep doing what you're doing because it's going to work. It's going to separate you from the guys that are around you, and it's going to separate you on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely, you've gotten yourself to a point where, despite adversity, despite some hardships at times, like you're in the position literally right now where you are changing the face of Stony Brook, an entire, way of thinking now for,
Mm.
this one team, and could seriously shock a lot of people, like you said. I mean, no one's expecting you guys to win this thing, but I mean, hey, you certainly have it in you to do so. So why not?
Yeah, most definitely.
Rashawn, I do want to get a chance to meet the guy under the helmet at least a little bit more. So I mean,
Yeah.
I do want to see if there's more that you want to share about yourself, whether it be your hobbies, interests, other passions. What else you want to share about yourself?
So me, when I'm off the field, man, like on the field, I'm a jokester. I'm a guy that loves to laugh, that loves to just be around his guys. We all like to get loved up and stuff like that by each other. But off the field, man, I'm simple. I come home, I do my assignments. I just play the game all day. You see me at this setup right here. I got 2 monitors. I just like to play video games on my spare time. Also, I like to watch movies, TV shows, and what like the stuff that I really enjoy. Is like music and stuff, obviously, but I attribute what I like now from growing up around my siblings. So I am the youngest out of all my siblings, and they all were born in the 80s, right? So it's me, and I have three siblings. I have two older sisters and an older brother, and I kind of look at it like I grew up in their generation because a lot of the stuff that they were doing and watching and listening to growing up, I was just there. So I was forced to listen and watch it too. So it was just like a lot of my personality comes from them. So when people see me listening to music, when they're like, "What you listening to?" and I tell them, some OGs or some old schools, they looking at me like, are you 23 or are you 40? But like I
So,
like stuff
so
like that.
I gotta check. When you say you're listening to some things like from like the '90s, like what are they? I want to check that real quick.
All right, so let me see. Nas, I like Nas. Jay-Z. Let me see. Hmm, listen to a little bit of Tupac, but a lot of the stuff, like a lot of that rap music that I was like that I listened to more so from like down south, like early 2000s, like Project Pat, 3 6 Mafia,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I mean, you were saying some of them, and I'm like, that's not '90s.
Yeah, nah.
I'm like, hey, I am one of those old dudes. So
Yeah,
just to let you know. But I
I
mean,
got you.
That's the reason why I was like, well, what were they, dude? I might know who they are. But a couple other quick questions before we wrap things up. I mean, again, these are just for fun.
Okay.
From Philly, where's the best place in the air to get a cheesesteak,
And
dude? I want to hear you.
Angelo's Pizzeria. I get asked this question so many times a day by like my coaches and stuff when they go travel out there or just like anybody in general. Angelo's Pizzeria, right on South Street.
Gotcha. You're talking about movies. You have like a favorite movie or something?
My favorite movie is Paid in Full,
All
with
right.
Kai Pfeiffer and
Uh, Paid in full. So, you're at the movie theater. What's your go-to theater snack?
uh hot. Oh, I almost said a hot dog. I almost said a hot dog. Nah, I like popcorn. I might get some Skittles or some candy. Uh, maybe some M&Ms, but that's it. I don't really spend too much money on the snacks at the movie theater. They be trying to hit you over the head.
Yeah, that's where they get you. So I was going to ask you, bro, what's on your bucket list of a vacation spot that one day you want to hit? Where
Ooh,
do you want to end up one day? Like once you make it big.
somewhere in the Maldives, uh, Maldives, Dubai. Uh, I was looking at some spots in Europe I want to go to as well, but it's a whole list, man. Honestly, I could go through the whole list with you, but we'll be here all day.
No, I hear you. So obviously, one day want to be able to have the cash to be able to go these places and to do some of these things that you want.
Yeah,
Like go to the movie theater, because you can't do that these days without being. You got to have the money to spend. But
yeah.
no, Rashawn, got a few more games left to go. Obviously, have a whole lot of scouts looking at you, looking at some of your teammates. I really want to see you shine these next few, games to
Thank you.
uh, solidify yourself as a prospect this season. Finish us out with your final thoughts as to maybe perhaps why they need to take a chance on this kid from Philly and give them an opportunity in the pros. So, hit me with your pitch.
Um, Me, I've always been a guy that has to work for everything he's had. Like I had to work, like put in a double time, like, and I'm not afraid to take a chance on myself. Like if you can see now, I'm at my third school. Like I've always been a guy that's just taking a risk is something that I enjoy because I know that no matter where I am, I'm gonna rise to the occasion. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a guy that I'm not gonna say too much, like I like to be by myself, but when it's time to play ball, then I let my playing, speak for itself. I don't really have to sell myself after that. You're gonna see, you know what I mean? But I love taking risk and betting on myself because I know um everybody's story is definitely different. I'm coming from a hungry place.
Gotcha. Well, Rajan, again, just want to wish you all the best moving forward with these next few games and everything else you got going on. All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on your platform.
Sure. Again, we're looking at one of the top defensive players in all the FCS right now. Definitely check him out. His name is Rushawn Lawrence. He's an edge rusher out of Stony Brook. Plays a lot of positions on that defensive front too. So check him out this season.
Sir.